Hey Aquarius, it's Jen here from tarotspirit.net. Thank you for joining me for, what are we doing? October, wow, 2019. I'm sure all of you know this, but I have a couple times just in the last month have met Aquarians who assume they're water signs, which makes complete sense because Aquarius. And I think even isn't your, what do you call it? The symbol for Aquarius, like two squiggly lines. Here, I can look like water. Let me bring up my natal chart and look. Sorry. Where is it? Yeah. So anyway, you guys are air signs. I'm sure, again, a lot of you knew that, but you're the mind, the thoughts, the cerebral. That's why cerebral. That's why you're known as the out-of-the-box thinker. You have a very fluid mind, I would say, which so I can see looking at it that way. But you guys are air signs. Very often I find you guys to be very generous. My parents are Aquarians. All right, let's see what's going on. Ooh, boom, the tower. I love the tower. I've learned to love the tower because until a tower moment, if you have a tower moment that's been a long time coming, then you've probably, yeah, you may have been in denial about it, I guess, but everything before the tower moment has been sort of fake, inauthentic, just waiting for something to come and tear it down, to rebuild or something else. So literally, some of you may be like doing some sort of, oh, I said like, I get in trouble for saying like too much. Like, I'm like, sorry. Like, shit. Flipping a house, or it's so hard not to say it, or doing some remodeling, some demolition. I mean, that on a very basic level could be just something like that. However, it's usually a change in something does rock your foundation. If you do think about a building, if an earthquake came through, if it was built on a solid foundation, it would weather the storm. But relationships and things that are based on faulty footing, faulty ground, imbalanced relationships or situations, they will not be able to weather a storm. And I remember a long time ago, I was in a well, it was whatever, it's a long story, but I was young and I had moved, like literally moved. I had never lived away from where I grew up with this guy. I allowed him to talk me into doing it sooner than I wanted. And he like almost instantly dumped me, like within 2 months. It was like, wow. But he was not honest with me. It was a faulty relationship. It was just waiting. It couldn't weather anything, obviously. Although I didn't know anything was wrong, I was with an inauthentic person. And I'm not saying I'm sure I had plenty to do with it too, but it was just waiting for, it was gonna bound to come down. So it was kind of like might have been wasting your time. And I don't want you to look back and be like, oh, my marriage fell apart. I wasted 20 years. Like, that's not what I'm saying, but that was what I said. It was a matter of time, I guess. It was bound to happen. But now in the wake of the tower, when the dust settles, it's often in that when you can sift through and see, okay, what is what can I salvage here? What is worth? What are those nuggets of wisdom? There's also often nuggets and seeds of creativity and inspiration, and it almost cleans the slate for you. It almost gives you a do-over. And so it's very difficult when you're going through a tumultuous time to be able to see that. But if anyone can do it, your fluid mind can, and sort of shift perspective and zoom out and look at the bigger picture and say, you know what? That kind of sucked, but there's an opportunity here now, a fresh start to move forward, to make different choices, to carry all that wisdom with me and rebuild. Mature, yeah, you're wow, like really growing up, like leveling up in your life, leveling up in your maturity. Maybe you'll get a new job, a bigger job, a bigger promotion, a bigger promotion. I don't know what that means. He's very logical and practical. He sort of cuts away all that emotional stuff. And maybe you were emotionally tied to something, but emotions can be deceiving. They don't really help. So maybe you're coming along and saying, you know what, I'm seeing, maybe I've been a little codependent. Maybe someone's been a little codependent, and it was bound to, it wasn't going to work because of that. And you could see that clearly. And it's almost like pruning, like cutting away. I said, like, no, cutting away dead wood, things that are just slowing you down, weighing you down. Even like, oh, maybe you guys have some trees around your house. Like maybe there's some dead limbs, maybe like over where your car is or something, that you may want to just take a walk around and look at where you park your car, uh, trees and things near your house that could fall on it that are kind of dead. See, that's how it can work out too. And they're just waiting for a strong windstorm to come along, and you'd be surprised how small of a tree branch it takes to dent the roof of your car. So pruning, decluttering, getting rid of the excess in your life that isn't of substance. It isn't sustainable. Sustainability. Maybe you're going to really go green, really look at the footprint that you're putting in this world and try to reduce your plastic use, recycle, thinking before you buy something and bringing more clutter into the home. Yeah. Seven of Pentacles. I want to see the other card because the Seven of Pentacles is almost like a card of patience, of trying to figure out when the right time to act is. Have I been patient enough? Should I get it more time? You've been patient enough. It's going to blow up. It's time to just move on. So you can either wait for the tower moment to hit, because I don't think it's hit yet, or I don't know if some of you are with a drinker or just someone that's really fundamentally unhappy, not accepting responsibility for their own happiness, maybe putting it on you, things like that. And I can see you going, you know what? I've been patient enough. I've waited. I've done everything I can. I've worked on it. And there's that balance with the Seven of Pentacles. You plant a crop. You put the seed in the ground. You have great soil. You did everything you can do possibly within your control. And if you know it takes approximately, and of course in life we don't have these guidelines, so it makes it way more difficult to make a judgment. But if that seed's not breaking through the earth in a week or two, that it's probably not going to grow there, and it's time to move on. But you don't sit there screaming at the seed, and you also don't wait 2 years. So again, we don't have those obvious rules in life, but if something is not growing and thriving and moving forward, like he is not thriving or moving forward, sorry. He's just sitting there pissed. Like, look at his body language. He's not budging. So be careful that you're not into sort of a stalemate and you're allowing your life to stagnate. Something will come along and blow it up. I always find that people like this then all of a sudden tend to go, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but you've been patient and waiting, and I'm not saying this is a gender thing, so mix and match genders to match your situation and your preferences. But this type of person will all of a sudden go and cheat, and you're like, oh my God, I have tolerated and put up with so much crap. But in some ways they kind of want you to to blow it up, so they're not responsible. They don't want to take responsibility for themselves or anything. And still, somehow it's going to be your fault. So you might as well just grab the bull by the horns and make the decision and cut ties. Be the mature Aquarian air sign that you are, and just make a decision and cut the cord and get away from this situation. You've been patient enough. You've done everything under your control. You can't control other people, right? You know that. I also see you being held back, that you have a lot of talent and good ideas, and I think there's someone in your sphere of influence that is jealous and is not supportive of you. Those are not relationships you need to stay in your life, because you look at all the talent you have. Look at what you've built. So don't let one person bring you down. All right, Aquarius. I hope you have a great October. It looks like an amazing opportunity here, honestly. And I'll see you at the next video. Take care.